My goal is to give you step by step. And I don't care if you've been here, 5 days, 5 months, or 5 years, or 20 years, like some of these people. But I do hope that you can implement some of this into your business and give people a shot. Because think about how many people that we're talking to out there that are getting no support. That could be your next 20, 30, 40K producer if we give the time. Now, there is the other side of it. They got to hold up their end of the bargain, which I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But they got to hold up their end of the bargain. But a lot of this I've learned from other people. So, that's why I think the events are important. Get around. Like, if you can take a couple things from this, that's what I hope. You take 1 or 2 things that you can implement into your business and make a difference. Like, I would rather hire 10 people and get 9 of them writing policies than I would have 100 people and get 10.
Well, I've got to tell you, I was alone. I didn't have anybody that was like me because everybody thought I was crazy, And so maybe you don't have the support that you need, but now you know all these women right in this room. And then when you get into the big alliance room, you're going to have even more support to keep going, even when you don't want to. That's the key to success. Keep going, even when you don't want to. And the thing I had to learn is to quit quitting. Stop stopping.
Here's the thing. Find a way to stay in contact with your clients. Build that relationship with them. My wife and I done been to weddings, baby showers, birthday parties, every doggone thing. And guess what? What I like the most? 0 lead costs. Talking about profitability. That's the name of the game. Even when you buying leads, right? That lead costs you $40. Anybody drive 30 miles to see a client? Do anybody look forward to that besides me? No? Why y'all not? I got 52 cents a mile, 75 miles that way and back, and I'm writing the lead off, and I'm picking up a check, and I'm getting 15 names. Y'all better get a little bit excited about driving.
So faith is taking action. So if you're taking notes and you're writing stuff down, say this is what faith is. Faith is having a corresponding action to what it is you say you believe. So if you say you believe that you can build a business, what is the corresponding action? If you say that you can be a top producer, what is the corresponding action? Here's what it looks like. Faith is when you say, I don't know the next page in my story, but I know the author of my story. And because I know the author of my story, Kendall, it doesn't matter what the next chapter looks like because he's writing a book. Your life should be a book that says, hey, look at the pages of my life. And when you see me down and out in these pages, know that there's someone in this story that picked me up. When you see me not knowing how the end was going to work out, when I didn't know the end from the beginning, I know someone who says, son, I know the end from the beginning. And if you just rest in me, it doesn't matter what it looks like because I will get you to the perfected end that I have for your life.
I used to have this thing on my phone that said, be afraid and do it anyway. Can you just hang on to be afraid and do it anyway? The 4th thing that they train on is unbreakable confidence. Unbreakable confidence. When I think about it, sometimes it's, you can look at people and you can tell the people who are really, really confident. Like when God was pouring in confidence, there was sometimes where it was like, right? For some people, it just overflows. And then on other people, you can tell it kind of went like this. The cool part about confidence is that it could be developed. It can be developed. And so they focus on failure not being an option, okay? They embrace challenges and setbacks as opportunities to grow. Then here, you're going to have some challenges. I have had some challenges. Everybody in here that's doing anything worthwhile has had some challenges. People who aren't even doing this business are having challenges. So why would it be any different? You're in business, you wouldn't have no challenges.
Guys, life happens, and I want you to listen to this one thing. It can stop you in your tracks, or you can work through it, or because of it, okay? It doesn't have to stop you. Because it's your business, I need you to include your family in your schedule. I need them to understand when you're working and that door is closed, they're not to bother you to, hey, can you take Joey down the street to Susie's for a play date? No, I can't, I'm working. Unless there's blood involved, I'm not opening the door. And that might sound silly, but but if you were at a 9-to-5 job, do you think that you could get up and run Jimmy down to Susie's, leave work and take him there? Do you think that you could do laundry or dishes? Guys, all that's off limits. You are a business owner. You have to do your business. And you know, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is you're a business owner in charge of your business and your schedule. You know what the bad news is? You're a business owner in charge of your business and your schedule. So yes, things will happen. You'll need to be flexible. Due to misfortune, don't let it derail you. I would get flat tires. I'd get it changed, call my clients, keep going the rest of the day. I didn't stop my day because I got a flat tire. You get in a fender bender and your car can't drive because they hit your front wheel. Ask your significant other, rent a car. Don't stop, guys, just because something happens. You've got to keep going. It may sound crazy, but we're crazy here at the Alliance.
You have a birthday and you have an end day. And in between your birthday and your end day is a dash. What are you doing in your dash? And sometimes our dashes are longer and sometimes our dashes are shorter, but the dashes are the hours and the minutes and the seconds of our lives. What are we doing in the dash? And that's what this whole thing is about. What are we doing to advance those things that we want to advance for ourselves?
We are sitting right now in a land of abundance. We are sitting on an opportunity where it don't matter what side of the railroad track you was born on. It doesn't matter if your nouns and verbs conjugate. All that stuff don't matter. All that matter is, can you follow a simple system? We got people from all walks of life winning. People short, tall, some thin, some a little wide body like myself. Some are married, some are single. Right. Some got children, some are still a child. Why not you? Why not now?
The principle of fitness is you're always pushing harder to adapt to the next thing. So this week you might do 10 pounds on your lifts and then your body adapts. Next week you do 15 pounds, so on and so forth. It's always having something of resistance, and things are always going to get harder the stronger that you get.
We all have a story. Each of you have it. This is just ours. Each and every one of you have a story. Don't let it go unheard. Like, let's make it a winning story. Let's make those decisions to push through and not allow the dream stealers and the naysayers to pull us back or hold us back. So one thing, I've been reading this book and it's been helping me a lot. The Magic of Thinking Big talks about 3 different groups of people. One, those who surrender completely, those who surrender partially, and those who never surrender. And it talks about, from all sides we've heard, it's foolish to be a dreamer, and that our ideas were impractical, stupid, naive, or foolish. That you've got to have money to go places. The lack determines who gets ahead of you, or you have to have important friends, or that you're too old or you're too young. See, we've all got people telling us these things. So when we go home and you have this high peak of excitement, and you go home and one of those dream stealers or one of those naysayers start getting into your head, you need to figure out, are you going to be the one who surrenders completely? Are you going to be the one who surrenders partially? Or are you going to be the one that decides to be the one that never surrenders?
I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2010. Actually, last Friday, I celebrated 14 years being cancer-free. It was a journey. I can speak to it now. Before, I couldn't. I would have been up here crying my eyes out because I couldn't speak to it. But now I can, because I did cancer, but cancer didn't do me. So it didn't win. So I don't cry about that anymore. I think I laugh now. Especially when I got that first word that I was diagnosed with cancer, and the nurse and the doctor came up and was rubbing my shoulders, massaging me, and I'm like, what is this? Are we about to have a party? Like, what's going on? So it was weird, but 14 years cancer-free, and I am so grateful for it all.
But here's what the street didn't teach me. The street didn't teach me nothing about emotional intelligence. I had to get mentors in my life to learn that. I had to allow myself to be coached. People said, oh, James, you're doing better. I'm so glad you found God. God was never lost. I didn't find God. I just made the decision to recognize God and go back to how I was originally brought up. God ain't never lost.
I was lost. And here's the thing. Not only was I lost in my faith, but I was lost from my family. I was the prodigal son, and Andy and Jane took me back. Y'all better understand where y'all at today. This is real. We came back.
Tell them why you had money. Like, did your family have money? I know you had a great job.
Loved my job. I was making just over $200,000 a year. To me, I was rich. I felt like a millionaire because my parents probably made $100,000 both working. So I was making more than them combined. And to me, it was like a millionaire. I traveled all over the place, but what I hated, I was quickly becoming that father I never wanted to be. I'd take the last flight home Friday night, see my kids Saturday morning, and then Sunday afternoon, I'd be flying someplace else and spending the week there and repeat. So when I found the Alliance, it was really just, I wanted my life back. It wasn't about money. It was just, I remember telling somebody, I was like, I'd give all the cars back, the house back, all that, just to have some time with my kids.
America is not designed for workers. America is not designed for what? For workers. It's designed for entrepreneurs and investors. Very important. A worker is somebody who has a job. You got a job that you're working with. Is that clear, sir? You got a job that you go every day. You put in your 8 hours, 9 hours. Some people even do overtime. You cannot succeed living in this country having a job. Is that clear? I say this without apology. I think I've been here for like some years. Sir, you can't be going and getting paid per hour, with like you'll be successful.
So the big thing about this is most people, 95% of the population lives on the left side of the quadrant. So this is taken from Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. He's written like 7 books. They all say the same thing. He just retitles them. That's his multiple streams of income. He just resells the same info. But it talks about 95% of the people, but only 5% of the world's revenue is on the left-hand side of the quadrant. Employee and self-employed. And if you are a salesperson, I can't think of a better place to be a self-employed salesperson than here at the Alliance.
You know, I feel blessed by God to be standing here today because I remember 13 years ago, I was sitting on the left side front row, listening to all of my heroes of the Alliance, you know, Davies, Fitz, the Leventoviches, you know, everybody, Avian, and now I get to share the stage with these guys. So thank you. This is amazing. But you know, this wouldn't happen, and it's happened to me a couple times that I'm driving home late at night after showing the plan or after running business, and I could just think, because 13 years ago, I was listening to Andy's story and how he was driving in the middle of the night after showing the plan, and I could tell you, many of those times, you feel fear, you feel a little, you know, uncertainty, and you go, is this gonna work, you know? And I could imagine him, you know, just trying to build his business by himself in the beginning, and Jane back home, you know, before they had staff or anybody else, and doing all the things that she needed to do behind the scenes to make sure that everything was working. And here we are, man. This is amazing. Look at this. Look at this. Give yourselves a hand right now for being here. This is awesome.
As a great leader, you don't want to be needed, you want to be succeeded. So a lot of leaders want to be like, you need me, I got to teach you this, you got to teach you this. I'm always trying to replace myself. I was talking to Olga Mathis a couple months ago. She was doing a boot camp in Houston, and she's like, Andy, I've been doing the in-home presentation training. I want to go on to something else. I was like, well, then move to, and you start doing this part of this. And she's like, what's my game plan after I do that in a bunch of boot camps? What's the next thing? I was like, the next thing is you go to the boot camp and you do nothing. You just watch. And you have all your team teaching the boot camp. She goes, what's after that? I was like, next thing after that is you have 10 boot camps going on every single weekend and you're not attending any of them.
So gratitude, here's the thing, true gratitude is not based on circumstance, right? Anybody can be grateful when things are great. Anybody can. Anybody can be grateful when everything is going your way, right? We've all had those runs. I love those runs. Oh my God, those runs, they're great for my self-esteem. Oh man, I am really good when things are going great. Like, I'm just telling you, you have never seen anybody better at life when everything's going great. I am a killer. But can I be grateful when things aren't going great, right? Grateful is not dependent on circumstance. Here's the other things. Being a grateful person, grateful people don't worry about fairness. The people you always say, that's not fair, right? Those are ungrateful people. When you're grateful, you're not worried about those things.
So, we all know the story of David and Goliath, right? So when David went out to face Goliath, do you think when David took a look at Goliath that he was too big to hit or he was too big to miss? How do you think about your day when you're going out in the field? What are you doing in between appointments? Exactly. Windshield time. The average car owner drives 500 to 1,000 hours from place to place every single year. What are you filling up that time with? I do audios. I listen to positive audios. I listen to Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins. So I'm filling my head with this positivity because that positive thought is going to affect my attitude, and my attitude is going to affect my behavior at that next door.
Failure. What is failure, really? Okay, it's hard to fail, but it's worse never to succeed, and those failures hold us back. Just so you know, Thomas Edison found 1,000 ways that the light bulb didn't work. Dyson tried 5,126 prototypes before they invented the bagless vacuum cleaner. Abraham Lincoln lost the 1858 Senate race, and everybody grab onto your seats. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school varsity basketball team when he first tried out. So what makes all those people successful? Certainly not their failures, but they didn't quit. The greatest words that Olga ever said to me, and I pass on to every agent that I have, is just don't quit. You're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows, and the object is just keep them in the middle, okay? Because you don't want those highs to ride you so high that you forget where you came from, and you don't want those lows to discourage you. So you gotta keep just going, okay?
Now, I was in a class with about 25 men. And so we go out there every day to run. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, and they have more stamina. But you know what they don't have? They don't have more stubborn. I was raised with two sisters. Drama is a competition. We went out and we ran every day until I threw up. And sometimes it didn't take a lot. Sometimes I was so determined that, it ain't gonna happen today. But it happened every day. But as it happened, I could look at that experience and say, this is humiliating, because it was. Or I could look at this experience and say, they can't break me. See, I get to choose on how I look at that. And so I decided they can't break me. And I decided every day I was going to do my best not to throw up, even though it still happened. Because at the end of the day, this was not a physical challenge. This was a mental challenge. Most of life's challenges are mental challenges. And so as this continued throughout this course, I continued to progress. Yes, I struggled. Yes, it wasn't always pretty. Yes, it wasn't always perfect, but I made it through. Because the discipline of deciding not to quit applies everywhere in your life.
Make a decision right now that you're going to, when challenges happen, that you'll pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. Just don't quit. Don't quit on your kids. Don't quit on your marriage. And I'd say don't quit on this business because of how impactful it is in all areas of your life. Just don't quit.
Resilience is a choice, okay? If you've got anything, you take anything away from what I'm saying today, I want you to know that resilience or coming away from trauma is a choice. You have the choice. I think about those families that were affected, the people who were injured for life. Did they choose wisely? Did they choose to use that as a reason to impact their world, or did they use it as a reason not to impact their world?
So my first job when I got in the business was to build a friendship with Alex. And there's a built-in trust factor. Let's say you come into the business and you don't know anybody here. Did anybody come into the Alliance and you didn't know anybody else except the person who hired you when you came in? Yeah, look around, keep your hands up. It's most people. Most people, when they come in, they know one person. That's the person that brought them in. build a friendship with that person, Jake. Like, that's your lifeline, quickly. And you might not know that you can trust that person yet. But what do you know? You know that you can trust that that person, like, wants you to succeed, because if you succeed, they make money. Like, why would they do something bad to you, Jake, if it hurts their family's income?
People have this, he says in the book, this work-life balance is a veil. You know what that is? That's Satan's way of dividing what you do to take you off track, right? Because that's Satan's way of saying, oh, making you feel guilty. When you're working, you feel like you should be with your family. But then with your family, you feel like you should be working. And you're in this constant state of guilt. And that's where the core of self-image starts breaking down. And you feeling frustrated. When you can live your life of congruency, where everything you're doing supports everything you value, there's no work-life balance. It's just living your life of fulfillment because you're doing what God wants you to do, which fulfills everything else. And it's a feeling of joy. Joy, even when things go bad, you're feeling joy.
This is providing you with training to put you on the front lines of your life, to fight for your business, and to come out a winner every single fight. So that's why I came up with the little keychain that you got, because that's your very own set of boxing gloves to remind you you're in your own fight. Yes, you got friends that are come along beside you and fight with you, but you got to fight your own battles. And then if you'll notice, the little medallion on it says that you're never going to quit. You know why you're not going to quit? Because you are a soldier. You are designed to fight. Speaking of life getting tough and stuff happening, everybody's got stuff. You wouldn't trade your stuff for my stuff. Everybody's got something. No matter what your situation is, there's somebody's situation who's always worse. I think my situation's bad, and I know what Mercedes has gone through. I think my situation is bad, and I've been on the phone with Debbie Ben at 3 a.m. in the morning. You would never trade your battle or your fight of what you're going through for someone else's.
Can you just tell me what you need right now? I just want to know, how much money do you need to survive and have a little bit extra to go on this vacation? I need you to stay in a need mentality before you start giving me all these dreams and stuff. I talk to so many agents, and they go, oh, like, can you just write me one app? And they'll go, they look like offended. Like, I can do better than that. I'm like, you're not doing better than that. But I can. You're demotivating me, man. You know, when you really make people mad in the South, they'll go, man, a lot. You demotivating me, man. And I'm like, I'm not trying to. I just want you to move a rock. Can we move a rock before we start moving a mountain? Can you write me just one app? I can write 10. I'm like, here we go. This delusion that you guys have, some of you. Just write a damn app. And then come back the next day and let's talk about it. Talk about that mountain.
Branding. What is branding? Branding is a process of creating a unique identity for a business, product, or individual. That screen does not say branding is your logo and your website and the merchandise that you wear. So, how do we dress for the Alliance? What do we wear to an appointment is different from what we wear at an event, and it is different from what we wear at a hotspot in training. So when you are with your client, you don't want to be wearing a business suit, because then you look too serious and like, oh, they're just somebody else trying to take my money and put it somewhere else. No, you want to look relatable. You want to wear nice jeans, khakis, a polo. Good news, we have polos with the Alliance. If you're like, oh, I need a logo, I gotta look credible. Yep, the Alliance, you can use our logo. You're allowed. So you can buy a polo. NatCon, events like that, Jenny and Alex Abian, they always look dressed to the T's, walking on stage, getting ring upgrades, I should say, and stuff like that. That is what you would wear on stage at one of our national events. So that's a different type of identity for your brand. And then hotspots and training, Mike Marisi always dressed to the nines at hotspots and trainings, because when people come into your business as a new recruit, you want them to be like, oh, that's Noelle Eventovich, she's dressed like a businesswoman.